Wow, what an extraordinary race at Fuji. Excluding Le Mans, that might have been the best race of the entire season. The World Endurance Championship's latest trip to the Fuji Speedway was a complete success. 6 hours of pure drama, strategy, and wheel-to-wheel racing, proving that a trip to Japan is essential for the continuation of the sport. From a tense hypercar duel for the overall win, to a wild LMGT3 battle, including an intense final lap showdown for the win between Ferrari and Chevrolet. To be honest, this was my favorite race of the season, and in this recap, I will break down it all, as this is your full race report for the 2025 6 Hours of Fuji. Heading into Fuji, it was anyone's guess who would have the pace in hypercar. For the first time ever, every manufacturer managed to get at least one car in the top 10 during Hyperpole, showing just how competitive this season has become. But the standout performance on Saturday was from Cadillac Hertz Team Jota, as they locked out the front row in hypercar. Alex Lynn claimed his third pole of the year with a 1 minute 28.236 lap time in the number 12 V Series R, just ahead of the sister number 38 car. The surprise on Saturday though came from Aston Martin, as Marco Sorensen put the Valkyrie LMH into third on the grid, even going fastest overall in the earlier qualifying session as well. And by the way, we'll get back to Aston Martin later on in this video. In LMGT3, it was another strong showing from Eduardo Barrichello, who took pole in the number 10 Racing Spirit of Le Mans Aston Martin with a 1 minute 39.981. In fact, all 4 British GT cars, which were those Astons and McLarens, would lock out the first 2 rows in the category. When the green flags were shown in Japan, Will Stevens held firm at the front in the number 12 Cadillac, while Paul di Resta's Peugeot 9X8 moved into third, getting past Sorensen's Aston Martin Valkyrie. In LMGT3, Tony McIntosh in the pole sitting Vantage lost the lead to Darren Leon in the number 95 United Autosports McLaren, and in fact, unfortunately both of the Aston Martins began to slip back in the GT field as the race progressed. The second McLaren, which was that number 59 car of James Cottingham, quickly joined the fight and eventually took over the class lead from the sister car, which marked the start of a long couple of stints in the lead for the 720S GT3 Evo. Unlike last year, there were no major incidents early on in hypercar. Cadillac dominated the opening phase, holding a strong 1-2 lead, while Sorensen showed impressive pace in the 009 Valkyrie, as the Dane re-overtook di Resta in the number 93 Peugeot and eventually began closing in on the leaders too, bringing down the gap to Bourdais to just under a second. But behind the 009, drama struck for the other Valkyrie. Harry Tinknell tagged Kevin Magnussen at the hairpin, sending both the 007 Aston Martin and the number 15 BMW M Hybrid V8 into a spin, and this unfortunately halted progress for both cars. Then came another dramatic moment in this race as Ferdinand Habsburg in the 35 Alpine made contact with Sebastian Buemi's number 8 Toyota. A badly timed full course yellow meant that Buemi had to pit while the lane was closed, resulting in a 3-minute stop-and-go penalty. And yes, you heard me right, a 3-minute penalty. And for the number 8 car, this would effectively end any chance of a big result for Toyota's former Fuji winning crew. In LMGT3, one standout drive came from Stefano Gattuso in the number 88 Proton Ford Mustang. Despite BOP weight increases for the Mustang, Gattuso carved through the field from deep in the pack, all the way into second position. So I just had to mention this seriously impressive stint from the Italian racer that caught everyone's attention during this race, and I'll definitely be talking about this 88 Mustang later on in this recap as well. Back in hypercar, the lead fight evolved into a Cadillac versus Peugeot showdown. The Peugeots looked more competitive than ever here in Japan, continuing their strong momentum after their double top 5 result at Lone Star Le Mans at the beginning of September. On the restart, Paul di Resta made a brilliant move in the number 93 Peugeot around the outside at the hairpin to take second away from Bourdais' number 38 Cadillac. And by the way, soon after, Antonio Giovinazzi in the championship leading number 51 Ferrari followed through as well. Soon we got some unfortunate news for fans of the Valkyrie as more heartbreak hit Aston Martin. Sorensen was handed a drive-through penalty for speeding under full course yellow conditions, and that dropped the 009 Valkyrie right to the back of the field. But the Dane didn't give up, charging back into the top 6 and even battling Porsche's Julian Andlauer for 5th overall. Multiple laps later, Raffaele Marciello lost control of the number 15 BMW on cold tires, crashing out and bringing out yet another full course yellow, which unfortunately ended BMW's day with the crew of Dries Vanthoor, Kevin Magnussen, and Raffaele Marciello in a disappointing fashion. Following this incident for the BMW, the race turned on its head when Proton Competition made a perfectly timed pit stop with their number 99 Porsche 963, diving into the pits just before the pit lane closed for the safety car, and that call put Nico Varroni in the overall lead ahead of the number 93 Peugeot, Nick de Vries in the 7 Toyota, and those 2 Cadillacs. When racing resumed on that first racing lap since the restart, Varroni held firm at the front, defending brilliantly against Jean-Eric Vergne's Peugeot. Vergne eventually took the lead, but behind him, the fight between the 99 Porsche, the 94 Peugeot, and the number 7 Toyota produced some of the most intense racing of the entire season. A proper 3-way scrap heading into turn 1 that had fans on the edge of their seats. Back over to LMGT3, and the number 59 McLaren's long stint in the lead came to an end, as the Iron Dames driver Rahal Frey launched a bold move at turn 1 to take the lead in the pink number 85 Porsche, with a Swiss racer aiming to secure the team's first win since 2023 in Sakir. Unfortunately, trouble soon hit the hypercar class again, as Nico Varroni's 99 Porsche was hit by a Ferrari 499P, which made the customer 963 spin and get damage, dropping it outside of the points at the end of this race. This was another cruel twist for Proton after their strong pace at Coda, which also ended in them losing big points after a spin as well. But hopefully, luck turns their way in Bahrain. Moments later, the race was neutralized again after Tom Gamble spun in the number 007 Valkyrie on cold tires, and unfortunately, he hit the sister Heart of Racing Aston in LMGT3. Surprisingly, Zachary Robichon reported the Vantage was okay to continue on from the incident, but as for the Valkyrie, the car would definitely need to retire, but for a brief window in time, there was uncertainty whether Gamble would make it back to the pits or pull off to the side, with the situation proving to be heavily decisive between teams, and ultimately this caused a shift in who would win this race at the end. And because of this major incident, some squads like the Alpine Endurance team anticipated a full course yellow being brought out. The team of Alpine decided to instruct Paul Le Chaton in the number 35 car to pit just seconds before race control neutralized the field with a full course yellow, which was just the perfect time for this move. But just to be clear, Alpine was not the only brand that did this, as Peugeot did the same with cars like the number 93 entry. Cadillac's afternoon unraveled with the number 38 car drifting down the order and out of contention after a rare mistake from race control under full course yellow procedures. And for the number 12, this car also drifted down the order due to the full course yellows. In addition to Cadillac getting super unlucky with Tom Gamble causing a full course yellow for stopping the 007 Valkyrie, entries like the number 7 Toyota were forced into emergency stops to manage energy, which completely reshuffled the order heading into the final hours of this race. When the green flags were finally waved again, the running order would feature the number 93 Peugeot in first, followed by the number 35 Alpine A424, and Alex Riberas now moved into third in the recovering 009 Aston Martin Valkyrie. The closing stages of this race in hypercar came down to 3 cars battling for the overall victory. Peugeot's number 93, which was leading the race, Porsche Penske's charging number 6 of Kevin Estre, and Alpine's number 35 A424. The Porsche picked up a 5-second penalty for a pit infringement, leaving Peugeot as Alpine's main rival for the win, with both French brands looking for their first win with their hypercar entries. The decisive moment in this race came during the final pit stop, as with just over an hour to go, Mikkel Jensen brought the number 93 in for full service, and crucially Peugeot changed all 4 tires on the 9X8. At Alpine, however, they rolled the dice, as when Charles Malesi stopped with the number 35 for its final pit stop, the French team only changed the left side tires, and ultimately the gamble saved precious seconds and vaulted Alpine ahead of Peugeot. Malesi rejoined 8 seconds clear of the Peugeot, but with older rubber on one side of the car, he faced intense pressure from behind. Moving on to LMGT3, and the race flipped again. The number 21 Ferrari from Vista AF Corsa took the lead, chased by the TF Sport Corvettes, the BMWs, and the 88 Ford. The contact was made between the Corvette and the Mustang at turn 1, which left Dennis Olsen in the Proton Ford with heavy damage, and this unfortunately ended what could have been a second place finish for this car. As the laps wound down, Ferrari's lead looked strong, but the number 21 had a 5-second penalty hanging over it. TF Sport's Irish racer Charlie Eastwood in the number 81 Corvette had the most energy left out of the front runners, and he closed right into the fight for the win. Following a quick replenishment of energy in the LMGT3 field, once the checkered flag was shown, Alessio Rivera crossed first for AF Corsa, but the penalty dropped the Ferrari behind the Corvette of Charlie Eastwood, handing TF Sport and Chevrolet the LMGT3 victory. And by the way, I'll get more into the GT class in just a bit, because over in Hypercar, one team in particular would be leaving Fuji absolutely ecstatic. Despite Peugeot's relentless determination to get that first win and Porsche's continued charge for big points, Malesi kept calm under pressure, managing his tires perfectly and fending off every single challenge. And so, after 6 tense hours of racing, he crossed the line 7.6 seconds ahead of the number 93 Peugeot of Mikkel Jensen to seal a famous win for the French manufacturer. Critics are calling this win for Alpine a strategic masterclass, as they perfectly anticipated the full course yellow, they nailed the pit strategy, and they trusted their drivers to deliver. Overjoyed with excitement for Charles Malesi, Paul Loucheton, and Ferdinand Habsburg, it was not only their first victory together, but also their first podium in hypercar, with the number 35, long overshadowed by its sister number 36, finally getting its moment in the spotlight. Alpine wasn't the only French manufacturer celebrating though, as the number 93 Peugeot would cross the line in first, delivering Peugeot their best result in the WEC to date, after a phenomenal race for the 9X8. Meanwhile, at Porsche Penske Motorsport, the number 6 Porsche would finish in 3rd overall, with the number 5 finishing right behind in 4th. Initially, it was the number 94 Peugeot that finished in 5th, but it actually got a post-race penalty, which moved the 009 Aston Martin Valkyrie into 5th, meaning that the Valkyrie would secure its first top 5 finish in any form of motorsport. Moving back over to LMGT3, and what a phenomenal result for TF Sport. Charlie Eastwood, Rui Andrade, and Tom Van Rompuy would win in the number 81 car, claiming the Corvettes, Chevrolets, and TF Sport's second win of the WEC season after their first coming in Qatar with the sister entry. Second place would go to that number 21 Vista AF Corsa Ferrari, even though it finished in first, and it would be a first podium finish for the number 31 Bend-sponsored Team WRT BMW, with the second WRT BMW completing the top 5. Meanwhile, the championship-leading number 92 Manthey First Form Porsche would complete the top 5 here at Fuji. Let's now take a look at the championship standings heading into the final race. In the Hypercar Drivers' Championship, the 51 Ferrari didn't score any points because it got multiple penalties in the race, which means that the points gap between the 51 and the 83 has shrunk to just 13 points. Because it's finished in the top 4 in the last 4 rounds since Le Mans, the number 6 Porsche is still mathematically within the championship hunt to secure back-to-back titles, as this car just sits 21 points behind in 3rd place. Then comes the number 12 Cadillac Hertz Team Jota V Series R, with the number 50 Ferrari rounding out the top 5. On the next page of the hypercar standings, the number 7 Toyota has moved into 6th ahead of the number 38 Cadillac from Hertz Team Jota, with the number 5 Porsche Penske now tied on points with the 38 car. The number 93 Peugeot has now moved into 9th after its successful points finish at Fuji, with the number 20 WRT BMW now concluding the top 10. In the Hypercar Manufacturers' Championship, Ferrari continues to lead the standings with 204 points, but just 39 points behind is Porsche in P2. Cadillac and Toyota are still in 3rd and 4th respectively, with the Japanese marque now moving above 100 points in the standings. Following their win at the 6 Hours of Fuji, Alpine has jumped into 5th with 84 points, and the gap is now just 3 points between 6th and 7th, BMW just ahead of Peugeot, with Aston Martin once again rounding off the top 8. Moving on to the LMGT3 standings, and the number 92 Manthey First Form Porsche continues to lead with 105 points, but the number 21 Vista AF Corsa Ferrari has closed the gap to just 11 points heading into Bahrain. TF Sport have their entries in 3rd and 4th in the standings. The Fuji winning number 81 Corvette sits ahead of the Qatar winning number 33 Corvette, with the number 27 Heart of Racing Aston Martin still in the top 5. The number 87 Akotis ASP Lexus follows in 6th, with the number 54 Vista AF Corsa Ferrari right behind. Then comes the 46 WRT BMW, the 78 Akotis ASP Lexus, and the number 59 McLaren rounds off the top 10. So, the 6 Hours of Fuji absolutely delivered, and in my opinion, that was one of the best races across the year. It had strategy, chaos, redemption, heartbreak, and a few major surprises along the way as well. But overall, it was just a thrilling event, and I can't wait for the event next year. But I'm curious to know, what did you think about this 6-hour endurance race in Japan? And are you excited for the finale coming up at Bahrain in November? Well, be sure to let me know all your thoughts in the comments below.